welcome you all to the village of St. Joseph. We have been long awaiting for this trail to be open, and it's nice to see everybody here this evening. The weather cooperated, and it's just a great day to be here. So just a couple of things to welcome you into our community. I just had a little bit of history. I will try not to go too long. I said sometimes when I speak from the heart, it goes a little long, so someone can just give me the signal if it's going too long. But over 100 years ago, the village started about a mile south of town along the Salt Fork River, because that was, you know, what they did in the day to transport things. And then along came the rail trail. The train came to this direction, and so they packed up St. Joe and moved it north about a mile because they wanted to build the community around the train, because that's where all the opportunities laid, and it was hopeful for a growing community and businesses and all of that that would come along with the railroad. So here we are today. The railroad is no longer here, but now we are repurposing this trail to now be the Kickapoo Rail Trail. So now we welcome our community. We are hopeful for the opportunities to welcome you as visitors to our community, and our businesses are looking forward to having opportunities to make this a destination for you to come back many times to visit us. We have lots to offer here. Eventually, just west of town will be the trailhead, which will be at our Cove Park, which is in kind of the center of the older part of town. We'll be working on that with renovations. As you can see, we hope that you explore through the community this evening. We have lots of unique shops, eateries, beautiful parks, ice cream. I think I saw someone walking around with the ice cream cone already. We have a wetland conservation viewing area that's in the process of being developed on the west edge of Route 150. We even have a resident bald eagle that appears now and then. So that will be something to come out to and enjoy. Festivals. The village likes to have lots of festivals, and sometimes we shut off our streets and let our businesses show off a little bit, and so we welcome you to come out for those. Matter of fact, we're planning an autumn festival on September 16th between noon and 5 o'clock that day. We were hoping to get to do something a little more today, but just because of scheduling, we're making the most of it like this. So we welcome you to come back on September 16th for that. As you can see around, I have the St. Joe Ogden High School soccer team. They're walking around in their jerseys, and we're handing out some maps of the village. So thank you guys. I appreciate their help, and those maps and things will help you know where some of our businesses and restaurants and eateries, coffee houses and things are around here, so they'll help you find those places. So we welcome you to do that. I want you to please enjoy your evening, and enjoy as much of it that you can this evening. If you're not able to enjoy those things this evening, please come back, and we will look forward to your visit. My trustees are here. I would like to thank them for all the help that we've done working towards the trail. We have Suzanne Rogers, Art Rapp, Anthony Gurna, Bob Rigdon, Anthony Lobster, and Roy McCarty. Sorry about that, Roy. So anyway, I thank you for being here. One last thing, I'm going to ask our past mayor, BJ Hackler, to come up and join me. And we have a bike raffle.
And make a trailhead for you. So the other thing we worked with, we was wanting to put asphalt through town instead of rock. So we did an intergovernmental agreement with the Forest Preserve. So we had 5 blocks of asphalt, and we'll be doing part of the mowing maintenance for them. Now as we go farther east, eventually when they get up to Glover, they can go underneath Glover and come into our sports complex. We have 77 acres out there that we can use for our sport complex. Plus, the other thing is, for your riders, once you get there, once we get developed farther east to Cedar Avenue, Cedar Street, that'll go south down to Sydney, down to your Homo Lake Road. so you'll have a direct shot right into Homer Lake. Again, thanks to Forest Preserve for the work they done and our engineering group.
Council member Aaron Ammons and Bill Brown. So they're out there somewhere. A transformative project like the Kickapoo Rail Trail starts with a vision and the ability to share that vision so others can see the possibilities. And then the project succeeds to what we have today through persistence over 20 years, very hard work by very many people, and raising the necessary funds. So, and I'd like to add my thanks again to David Monk, Heartland Pathways, and the dedicated members of the Champaign County Design and Conservation Foundation for sharing that early vision. You really led the way. Very proud that the west segment of the trail in Urbana is dedicated to CCDC, and we're excited to work with the Urbana Park District, the Regional Planning Commission, Champaign County Forest Preserve District, and Foundation to continue to plan and develop trailhead facilities on our end of the project. This is just the beginning, and I'm very excited as I look into the future, both going west and going east. The Kickapoo Rail Trail is a tremendous new recreational resource for communities along the route and really in the entire region. It's an amenity that'll contribute to quality of life, bring visitors to our area, provide opportunities for business growth. For example, I can envision a pancake house at the corner of routes 150 and 130. Not as grand a vision as this trail, but you know, bicyclists have to eat and they might as well eat in Urbana. And maybe we should add a Jimmy John's restaurant at that corner as well. Anyway, the Kickapoo Rail Trail also is about connections. Just like the railroad and the interurban routes of the 20th century, the KRT will once again connect Urbana, Mayview, St. Joe, Ogden, Fithian, Oakwood, and Kickapoo State Park, and on to Danville. The trail will connect us to our cultural, our agricultural, and our natural heritage as we follow in the footsteps of Native Americans, early settlers, and even the young Abraham Lincoln. And I think it'll connect us to each other as we walk and bike and run the lake. So on behalf of the city of Urbana, I extend my congratulations and a heartfelt thank you to all who have worked so hard, so long, to transform a vision of the Kickapoo Rail Trail into reality. And it's a resource that will serve us for generations to come. Thank you.
Foundation has been a driving force behind the donations to the Kickapoo Rail Trail. Moved this project from vision to reality. More than 2 decades have passed since the Heartland Pathways and the Champaign County Design and Conservation Foundation proposed the plan to convert the retired rail corridor to a hiking trail. Since that time, hundreds of dedicated individuals gave of their time and of their money and of their expertise to make it happen. Please welcome the Forest Preserve Friends Foundation President, Dan Nolan.
Thank you all for coming to the grand opening of the first phase of the Kickapoo Rail Trail. This is a time of celebration and for recognition of the many individuals and businesses that help make this project a reality. It is also a time of reflection on the diligent work of thousands of people across our country that saw a unique opportunity to repurpose railroad corridors to conserve natural beauty of our land while providing public places of sanctuary and tranquility. In the mid-1960s, a quiet Midwest phenomenon barely noticed in our major metropolitan areas of America started to take hold. Conservationists, railroad buffs, and outdoor enthusiasts began asking questions about the thousands of miles of abandoned and unused rail corridors. At the time, railroads were consolidating routes, and trucking of goods was taking over. These railroad corridors passed through beautiful land, usually at a slight grade or perfectly flat, crossing farmland, navigating forests and rivers, to connect towns and villages along the way. The answer was clear to so many. Convert the abandoned or unused rail corridors into public trails. Groups of people joined forces to remove the tracks and maintain the trails, a truly remarkable volunteer effort. People instinctively began walking along old corridors, enjoying nature, discovering railroad relics, and marveling at the bridges and tunnels. Early adopters started calling them rails to trails, a name that quickly caught on. The rail trail movement saw its formal birth with the opening of the Elroy State Trail in Wisconsin in 1967. Thank you, Bob S. Bissett, for your work on Elroy Sparta. The first rail trail in Illinois, the Illinois Prairie Path, took a decade from acquisition to opening. Then, in 1980, the U.S. Congress passed the Staggers Rail Act, prompting the abandonment of 4,000 to 8,000 miles of lines each year throughout the 1980s. In 1986, the Rails to Trails Conservancy was formed to support development of thousands of miles of multi-use trails for millions of people to explore and enjoy. In 1965, Rails to Trails was still highly localized movement, wrote Peter Harnick, RTC co-founder. People said, "We've got abandoned railroad tracks, so let's use it." Today, rail trails continue to make a significant mark on American communities, with more than 21,000 miles in use, providing a place for tens of millions of people to walk, run, hike, and cycle each year. The Kickapoo Rail Trail is a 24.5-mile retired railroad corridor that spans from the east side of Urbana to the Vermilion County Fairgrounds in Kickapoo State Park. It was purchased by the Champaign County Forest Preserve District and the Vermilion County Conservation District in late 2013. The completion of Phase 1 of the project demonstrates so well the localized movement that Peter Harnick wrote about. Without community support, the dream of completing the Kickapoo Trail Phase 1 simply could not be realized. And of course, the task of completing Phase 2 of the project lies ahead of us. Now, I come to the part of my job that I really enjoy. I get to thank people. This has been an enormous effort for the Forest Preserve and Conservation Districts. Fortunately, we have an active, energetic board who have reached out to the community, specifically their friends, to encourage them to support the project financially. Thank you to our dedicated staff and board members. I must also, of course, thank our donors. Our lead contributor, Jimmy and Leslie Leotow of Jimmy John Sandwiches. This gift was instrumental in closing our gap for Phase 1. Jimmy John's will be recognized for this gift on the bridge over the Salt Fork River. The Andersons Incorporated also played a large role in successfully funding the project, as well as Busey Bank, Tom and Darlene Holleran, and members of the Champaign County Conservation Foundation. At one point, we were waiting on approval from the Forest Preserve District, which I'm happy to say went through largely because of the tremendous public support this project has had. Huge thanks go to the local running and cycling groups who stepped up to energize our fundraising efforts. And last, but certainly not least, our most heartfelt appreciation goes to the hundreds of individual donors in our region who contributed to the Kickapoo Trail project. Through online giving, direct mail, individual solicitation, events, and private foundation support, the funds necessary to start and then complete construction was realized. So now what next? Well, we get to do it over again. Phase 2 planning is underway. In addition to our fundraising efforts at the Botanical Gardens at Lake of the Woods, Mahomet, the foundation will continue to seek gifts for the Kickapoo Rail Trail Phase 2 construction in 2018. What an amazing accomplishment we have before us. Our community has succeeded where some thought we would fail or fall short of our goal. My hope is that as more and more individuals use this trail, that they join in our vision for a completed trail from Urbana to Kickapoo State Park and beyond. Thank you.
Attracted out of causways. The prairie is down to the state of preserved about 0.01%, So we look at the undisturbed soils on either side of the right-of-way. The first phase is a little wide for us because the university used to rent that area for its prime prairie. There'll be other things, there'll be replanting and the like. But the little piece that comes off from Pioneer Grain to the bridge down here is alive with prairie. It's been mown for some time, but it is growing back. The silphiums, the deep-rooted plants, are already there in number. I just was on this little road, which is the old highway, which I hope will be an access to the bottomland areas that the Soil and Water Conservation have been working on. But there was a young guy there fishing the other day, and he said his grandfather had told him that that was a good spot for fishing, and it's right. And at this time of year, when the river's a little lower, you can do that. But on the other side of that, there is a very nice plot of prairie. On some of the other places where Mayview and the like, we will have restoration prairie, and the Forest Preserve has done well with that. They've taken soil from the main line and put it over in Homer Park, and that will be a reconstruction prairie. A lot of it is original soil and original species, and it'll be a little weedy for a while, and you have to be tolerant that the roadside will be weedy for perhaps 10 years. So you have to explain to people that this is how prairie grows. It's not going to have a lot of large flowers, and they're not going to be there for a long time, but it's your heritage. And we really appreciate the work that all of you have done to try and preserve that little bit of your heritage. And thank you.
A lot at you here, and all of it well-deserved. How about one, before we go cut the ribbon, one rousing round of applause for everybody that had a part of it. Now comes the ribbon cutting, and it's right over there. Here's the way we're going to do it. We're going to